Chris Barnett, 300 pounds of raw athleticism. The man exudes an aura of confidence rarely seen in MMA. Although his chubby look and lovable persona might fool you, this big boy can bang. Barnett steamrolled through most of his opponents with ease, leaving a string of fighters knocked out on the canvas on his way to the top. You might be thinking, how is it even physically possible that someone like him can move the way he does? Well, to answer that question, let's rewind back to 1986. Born on an airbase in Zaragoza, Spain, where his father was stationed as a United States Air Force captain. Moving around from airbase to airbase, the Barnetts never had a chance to settle. Chris and his older brother Curtis stuck out like sore thumbs wherever they went. Overseas, everyone knew Curtis as the American, and he would be picked on. Rocks would get thrown at him, and everything else you can think of. Their dad eventually saw the value of learning a martial art and enrolled Curtis in Taekwondo classes, where he quickly rose to the ranks and earned himself a black belt. Naturally, the bullying problem faded away. The resemblance between Curtis's story and the Karate Kid is uncanny. After turning 4, Chris and his family finally returned to the United States. They bounced around before ultimately finding a home in Georgia. Seeing how well Taekwondo did for his brother, Chris's parents took him to Taekwondo classes to reduce his hyperactivity. Little did they know that Taekwondo would turn out to be one of the best things ever happening to Chris. Despite looking like a human teddy bear, Chris was a natural. He followed suit and was a black belt in no time. The Barnetts were very busy, so they always wanted at least an hour or two to be together, and Taekwondo provided that. Chris didn't only excel in martial arts, but dancing as well. Everything just came so quickly to Chris. Dancing and Taekwondo go hand in hand as both require significant footwork and coordination. The way he can manipulate his body shatters the laws of physics. It just doesn't make sense. Handstands and flips were easy work for Huggy Bear. Seeing how Curtis excelled in the athletic department, winning trophies on a nearly weekly basis installed a fire in Chris. He later took up wrestling, which just added fuel to the fire. He went on to earn a scholarship to Campbellsville University, where he continued wrestling. Every day after wrestling class, he would head straight to the club, order 2 glasses of water, and dance for 3 hours straight, leaving behind a pool of sweat. After moving to Florida, Chris's dance moves would pay dividends. During a dance-off, a group of men noticed his fluidity of movements and approached him, asking if he would like to participate in a fighter tryouts the next day. Chris agreed and attended the tryouts, where the crowd immediately took a liking to Chris. His spinning attack brought oohs and ahs from attendees. Only 2 weeks later, Chris signed up for the first professional fight. The rest was history. Chris started his professional MMA career at XFC, where he obliterated his first 5 opponents, knocking 4 of them out. His 5th fight came against Prindle. At the age of 18, Eric joined the Army as a weapons specialist, began competing in many of the Army's boxing competitions, and became a 5-time All-Army champion and a 4-time Armed Forces champion, while compelling over 100 amateur boxing fights. The fight was a complete barn burner, and both fighters swung for the fences, but Eric would get the better of him, winning by split decision, marking Chris's first loss. Chris came back with a vengeance, winning 8 fights in a row. During his win streak, Beastboy made a move overseas to Japan, knowing that Japanese audience love over-the-top characters. Chris leaned into his Huggy Bear persona by walking out in teddy bear pajamas. After a series of wins and losses, Chris would eventually take a short-notice fight against Ben Rothwell in the UFC. Several years ago, Ben knocked out Alistair Overeem in spectacular fashion. Chris, being a friend and teammate of Overeem, entered the fight overly emotional with the intention of avenging his teammate. Barnett didn't dance during his walkout, and he just seemed off. The fight was lackluster to say the least. Despite having success early on in the fight, it didn't take long for him to tire out, and Rothwell submitted him in the 2nd round. Although he started off on the wrong foot, Barnett remained positive and kept improving and sharpening his skills. And boy did it show. I don't know what the highlight of the UFC 268 was, his walkout, his knockout, or his celebration. He knocked his opponent out with a sensational spinning back kick, becoming a fan favorite overnight. Everything seemed to be going well for Chris on the outside. Fans love him. He's finally in the biggest MMA promotion in the world. He's getting performance of the night bonuses, but behind the scene, his wife has been battling a life-threatening disease. Throughout the entire training camp for his Bude fight, his wife was battling encephalitis, and unfortunately, she later passed away in May. With his wife in the hospital, Barnett said some days he wouldn't get any training in, and on fight week, he got a phone call from the hospital that he needed to make a decision, which caught him by surprise. Even after getting the news, Chris Barnett decided to take the fight anyway, which he lost by technical decision. Barnett used his wife's tragic death as motivation for his next fight against Jake Collier. The two started out guns blazing, and Barnett suffered a knockdown and heavy ground and pound in the first. However, he bounced back and won the fight via TKO in the second round. Regardless of everything he's been through, Chris remains a rare ray of bubbling sunshine in what can be the harsh and intense environment of MMA. He breaks all conventions of a typical fighter and is a great example of why we shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Wherever Barnett goes, he'll always have fans supporting him. The sky is the limit for Chris. If you enjoyed this, make sure to let us know by smashing the like button, and we'll see you in the next video.